First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Infrastructure bill in the Senate, and Rachel is on right now. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, good morning. Yes, there's been more discussions between the White House and Republicans regarding infrastructure. And as of Friday, it looked like things were still pretty far apart. Actually, the White House came down a smidge in their numbers, but Republicans say is still not enough. And look, there's a soft deadline of Memorial Day when it comes to whether or not they're going to use budget reconciliation in the House and then moving on to the Senate. So this would probably be about the last stand this week before the Memorial Day holiday to see if they can come to some kind of agreement.
So, how close would that? They say Manchin is the one that holds the keys to this whole situation, saying that he would not participate in that.
Well, that's right. Joe Manchin does not like the idea of raising the corporate tax rate as high as Democrats have proposed. He wants kind of a middle ground. So he definitely has the spotlight on him. But again, that's with the budget reconciliation. So they would all have to be on the same page about that with Democrats to be able to push this through. This is the president's first plan that was price tagged at about $2.3 billion. The White House has come down to $1.8, but they cut areas that really Republicans wouldn't have had such a big problem with. They cut back on broadband and some of the other, what they call traditional infrastructure, and then, left in place the billions of dollars for in-home care for seniors, things like that aren't traditional infrastructure. So, yeah, still kind of far apart, but this is the last week of negotiations before lawmakers head out of town.
And is this is really roads and the highways, resurfacing and bridges, right? This infrastructure?
This first part, except when there's about $400 billion for in-home care for seniors, which, again, isn't really traditional infrastructure. And Republicans just want to spend less, and they want pay-fors like, your kind of service fees, a gas tax, things like that. And that's something that the White House has said no, because they don't want any tax increases on anybody making less than $400,000 a year.
Yeah. All right. Interesting stuff, Rachel. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Rachel Sutherland from Fox News. How about Phil Mickelson?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Awesome.
I don't think I've ever seen the fans like they were last night.
Without a mask, you mean?
What? No, like rowdiness,
going nuts.
I thought he was going to be injured. At one point, he had to pull himself off somebody.
Yeah.
They wanted to storm the green, as it were.
It was unbelievable. Now, and then he won, and when he won, so he missed the longer putt and then put it in. I expected mayhem based on what we saw before, and it didn't happen. And so all of a sudden they regained control of themselves. Like, oh my God, wait a minute, this is golf. I forgot.
Well, you know what happens is it was the guys with the blue and white striped shirts.
Yeah,
what they do is they pass a string and they kind of box out the green.
I saw that. You could see them trying to, because at one point I think the announcer there from NBC, CBS, Jim Nance. Said
they completely
lost control.
I've never heard that before.
I have never heard that. And I said to my wife, she said, what's so loud? I've never heard golf so loud. I'm like, I know. This is really weird.
It has to be, I think this is the first major where there is, was the volume of people that you're used to seeing in a golf course.
Apparently, these people hadn't been out since March of last year.
Yes. I think it was a combination of that.
Yeah.
Being 50 years old and winning.
That was huge.
Him being a legend. But these people have been you haven't been able to do that in so long, and to be in that moment, I think people just kind of lost it.
I know.
I mean, then we'll get to this, but the Knicks game last night, same thing. 15,000 people.
Yeah,
it was like over 75% capacity. People were going nuts.
For Mickelson, though, really just incredible, right?
Yeah,
50 years old, oldest to ever win. Just incredible.
And the interesting thing was his performance on Sunday was not great. I mean, he shot a 1 over.
Yeah, I know.
If it wasn't for the great Friday, Saturday that he had, he would have probably been in trouble. But
and Koepka
the rest
was
of the
2
field,
over.
Yeah.
That course, there was some shots that Mickelson in particular had, actually Koepka as well, where they would be just off the green.
Well, and the wind, too. It was very windy.
The wind was bad, but then there would be these, like, growths of weeds and sand, and it's like, that's 10 feet off the green. How is that right there? It was kind of odd. So, but it was kind of cool. I don't ever remember watching a major from that course.
They call those tumble hazards. The wind blows them in, and all of a sudden you got a sand trap. It's crazy.
Actually, speaking of the rowdy fans, Brooks Koepka was very upset because he says apparently the raucous fans dinged his knee a few times. He had knee injuries, that he had a sprain at the end of March that required surgery.
Of course they did. It was out of control.
Running into him.
Yeah. Crazy. I'd never seen just have my wife feel like, I've never seen golf so loud. What's going on? Yeah, it's really weird.
So it was kind of interesting being down a couple days last week and then waking up really and seeing what went on this weekend. It's like I woke up in a different world.
Yeah.
Nobody's wearing masks. I mean, even locally. But on television, the games, how many masked people did you see at that golf tournament?
I didn't see anyone.
Unless they worked for the course. Yeah. Nobody had a mask.
It's funny because it's gone to mind your own business. And if I'm not wearing a mask, how dare you tell me I have to put a mask on? To mind your own business. If somebody's wearing a mask, shut up. Right?
Right.
Like I walked into a place with a mask and all of a sudden it turned into an event. You don't have to wear. This is America. You don't have to wear. Shut the freak up.
I know.
Shut up and get out of my business. So give me a break. It's like, and by the way, like I want to walk into a place and have everyone have to turn around because somebody's yelling at me. Like that really happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, at that point now, I'm not taking this thing off. In fact, I might come over there and put one on you, you piece of garbage.
Well, my feeling is, too, I have so many thoughts on that. First of all, I hadn't been sick, right, for a whole year.
Right.
And then I ended up getting this thing from my roommate who had been in New York last weekend. You can still get sick, and it's ugly.
Correct. You felt over the weekend.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm just, there are certain places that if I feel so compelled to wear a mask into, I'm going to. Yeah. There are certain places I don't feel like I have to. And in those situations, I'm going to. I don't really care what you think.
I know.
It's not a political statement. It's not anything, and it's none of your business. Just like I didn't walk up to anybody in a grocery store when they weren't wearing a mask. I had one incident through the whole year. It was a waiter that was hovering over top of me, and he had no mask on. I had a problem with that. One incident back in in May. But I'll bet you there were 50 times where there was somebody next to me that wasn't wearing a mask. I never said a word. I didn't report them. I didn't do any of that crap. So if I choose to wear one, get the hell away from me.
It could be you're legitimately sick trying to protect others.
I wanted to say, I just tested positive, and I wanted to kind of keep you guys safe here. God almighty, shut up.
It is unfortunate.
This is America. And unfortunately, you're a citizen. That's how I feel.
I don't know. I've been actually.
Are they just giving out those citizenship cards?
Apparently.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And you're complaining about the Mexicans and the people coming across the border. That is not our problem.
So I have to say, I had pretty good experiences with, a few places I went into. And I always bring my mask because I'm in an uncomfortable position now, personally, where I'm like, I should probably be wearing this, but I don't have to wear it, but I stay away from people.
Yeah,
half the people have the store.
You've been mentally trained. Yeah. Some would say brainwashed over the last year.
Half the people, and a lot of the times, places I go into that don't have the mask mandate, some places still do.
Correct. I know some restaurants that still require you to, because apparently the health department hasn't lifted.
I was going to say.
Or the liquor authority, one or the other. We'll have to talk to Greeley on that. But I got one letter from Taylor and the Cook over the weekend that said we're in kind of a tough position because they haven't changed the rules with the health department, and we don't want to get fined. So we're just asking that when you're away from your table, you put a mask on.
It's just the tough thing is you walk into a store, and it's like that. I have the mask on or nearby, and I'm looking around at people that are in the store. Okay, that person doesn't. Those people do. Okay, this must be a place I don't have to wear it.
I went into a garden center.
Sure. I don't know.
And outdoors, believe it or not, about 25% of the people were wearing the mask, even outdoors, which is, I don't ever do that outdoors. Yeah. And then once I got inside, I bet you it was about 75%. Some employees were not, but most people were. But I walk into another place and no one is. Yeah. So it varies from place to place. But all I'm saying is just leave people alone.
Right. It's a personal choice at this point.
If somebody chooses to do it, there's a good chance they might, who knows, they might be doing it for the next 10 years. They might look like the Japanese.
Right.
It's their choice. You don't call them out on it. What is wrong with you?
I think other than a few loony exceptions like that person that you're talking about, I think everybody's pretty good about the honor system, right? There's probably people that aren't vaccinated, and that's
there are people that are not vaccinated,
and they're still wearing the mask,
and are not wearing the mask.
Well,
I'm
that's
telling
true
you,
that.
It's 50-50, really.
It is what
right?
it is
around here. I mean, we haven't gotten to 50%.
Well, what he's saying is, if people are not vaccinated, they're wearing a mask. I don't believe that to be true.
Right.
I think some are, because why?
Some are.
Why would some people still be wearing them when they know they don't have to?
Because someone like me, if I walk into a place I'm not comfortable, I'm going to wear it.
That's true.
And I'm vaccinated. It has nothing to do with my parents wear it. They're in their 70s. They still feel that despite the lift, that there's a chance that they could still get it even though they've been vaccinated. And they don't want to take that chance.
I don't blame them.
Whether you know it or not, you are taking a chance. And I get it. It's small. If you've been vaccinated, it should be much smaller, but there's still that chance that you aren't protected by the vaccine. And if you choose to try to extend your life or prevent yourself from living through misery, or just simply not having to live through 10 days of quarantine, then so be it. Let these people do what they want to do.
Or, by the way, you picked up a cold or some viral something.
Right.
And you do have a little bit of an illness going on.
Correct.
Interesting.
I don't want scabies either.
So waking up from being sick or finally recovering from being sick was interesting to see, because then, like yesterday, I stopped at a big box improvement store, and I think I had to return a battery for my mower, and I think I was the only person there with a mask on. That's an exaggeration. I did see a couple of other people, but I mean nobody, to include 90% of the store staff, nobody had a mask.
Yeah,
so it was just kind of it's almost like a culture shock.
It is. It's like a completely different world, which is great. Like, we are now moving into post-COVID, it seems.
Yeah,
and let's hope it stays that way, because what's going on in India is a variant that is much more contagious, and it's one that we want to keep over there and not bring over here. Jeff has been waiting. Hi, Jeff in Utica. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Bill. Hey, guys. You know, Rowdy Golf is not, wasn't like a one-time event. I mean, it's happened before.
Is that what we call it, Rowdy Golf?
Well, I suppose. I mean, I'm thinking back to like the '96 tour when you had Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore going neck and neck, and and it was, there was right up to the end there, and you had Phil Mickelson sitting there going, "Get in the hole! Why don't you get in the hole?"
Didn't they knock down a light tower too, or something like that? That's how wild it got.
It was the best ratings for the week, I think.
Yeah. All right, good point. Very good point, Jeff.
Why you guys hadn't done a Happy Gilmore referencing, I'm shocked.
It is. There's so much from over this weekend. I just can't keep it all in my head.
For the record, it was a camera tower that they knocked over, and I believe the quote from Shooter McGavin was, "Go back to your shanties!"
All right, Jeff. Thank you, man.
Have a good one, guys.
For setting us straight. You are correct. Thank you. Wayne in Utica. Hello, Wayne. Good morning.
Hey, guys. Was any of that sound piped in?
I know.
Oh, I think
that was all real.
Yeah.
It was all real?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's be no reason to pipe any sound in.
Did you see the crowd? I mean, it was a huge...
No, I know. Because just like you guys said, it's been since March since some of these people have really gotten to go to these things, so they get really excited.
I think that was,
with a toy.
You're right, and I right on Christmas morning walking down, and So, but the one thing you have to notice about golf is normally quiet, with the exception of you might get a roar from time to time, and then towards the end, the roar might be a little bit bigger. So you could even see them in a couple of the shots when they were teeing off. There are mics all over the course,
right.
And they're trying to
and
pick
they hold up signs, right, that say "quiet, quiet."
Correct. Yeah, they put their hands up, and and because they're trying to get the sound of that of the golf and the hit of the ball and the swing, all of that stuff. And then all of a sudden the people went wild, and I think that's why it sounded so. But it didn't just sound crazy. It was a mob scene. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
All right, the mask,
cool.
The mask thing. I am going to wear mine when I go into a store. When I come out of the store, I don't find it to be an inconvenience. I find it to be a habit now. Until they get this thing 100% under control, to where they could tell me the numbers aren't spiking every 2 months or whatever, then I'm going to stop wearing it because I'm vaccinated. But they make us wear them at work because they're related.
You got to do it
I'm
anyway.
going to wear it there. And
I'm with you. If that makes me the P word, then so be it.
Yeah, I don't care. People do look at me now because they're all without the mask, but I don't care. They can look.
I want to write on my mask, like something offensive.
You got to give put the stink eye look right on the front of the mask.
All right, don't become a Karen, an opposite Karen. I don't know what that
anti-Karen.
Is, so. Okay, Wayne. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
And Stefan Rubitsky. Good morning, Stefan Rubitsky.
Well, hello.
Well, hello, Bill, Jeff, and Andrew.
What's going on this morning, Stefan? You're up bright and early.
Now, I was at the first ever in East Utica, the Utica Hellcats game.
Okay, nice.
Yes,
we spoke with the coach the other day.
Well, he's only a week late on this. It was last weekend.
Yeah, he's been trying to get in on this issue.
Okay, go ahead,
Stefan.
Sorry.
Well, it was unfortunate they lost 30-0 to the New York Knockout from Schenectady.
Well, it's a new program here, so.
But you have to work out the kinks and jitters, like in the NFL. Week 1 is not smooth,
right.
And it was entertaining. And I plan to go back to the second home game.
All right, they only play a few games, and then and the same thing with the with
Utica Yeti.
With the Utica Yeti, they only play a few games and they do playoffs. So, okay, Stefan, good stuff. How's your job going, man?
It's going good, and also the Mets are fielding a AAA team, and they're finding ways to win.
It's crazy. I mean, you don't know anyone on this. Did you watch the Mets yesterday?
No.
It's like there's no one that you know.
Well, I did see
I mean, I don't want to do that, but
Yamamoto guy blew up that inning, and I never went back to check the score.
It's just, I mean, and up until this weekend, they had been finding ways to win, but they lost 2 this weekend. And these guys got to get back into the game here. This is not good.
Yeah, some of the guys I can't pronounce.
You've never even
names.
heard of them.
Yeah.
Who is this team?
And I saw they got Cameron Mapen back, who was a big signing like 6 years ago and was a total nothing.
Yeah.
And apparently they've picked him up out of the literally the scrap heap. So
and that's how bad it is. That's 16 players on the injured list. 16 players, basically. Okay there, Stefan. Thanks.
You're welcome.
You have a great day. DeGrom is back tomorrow, though.
Oh, I did hear that. So what's funny is we always think we got it worse than we got it. My initial reaction to all the injuries is, hey, listen, when it was COVID, they were only off for 2 weeks. I mean, Syndergaard's been gone for a whole year. Let's go back to COVID,
Yeah.
But obviously, I say that.
It's fun.
Joking.
The DeGrom pitched. They were all excited about the fact that he pitched 3 innings and he had 8 strikeouts. But he was playing their single A team, right? But hey, listen, if you're a pitcher, you still got to get the ball you still got to get it down the middle somewhere, somewhere on the corner to get the strike. Can you imagine if he pitched that game and he got rocked? That wouldn't be good.
No. By the way, Bob messaging in. Actually, this is from over the weekend, but he said, I still wear my mask because the pollen is so bad. And boy, isn't it?
It is awful.
It's been season for that.
I was. We had someone at our house yesterday evening, and my wife was, go out and wipe everything off. I said, I just did. I did it on Friday, and I went out, and it was filthy, just covered in that yellow, black pollen.
My mom did it twice yesterday afternoon. At her house.
It was bad. Let's see. Okay, I got a couple things to throw at you. First of all, if you look this morning, there's basically a blue sky coming in just as the sun was coming up. You get that full blue sky without full sun in your eyes, and the chemtrails are unbelievable this morning. And I'm thinking, are these? Is this? And it looked like they were planes that were going straight up in the air. Just it's based on our angle of where you're looking.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, are these? There must have been 5 in the air. Like, are these all military planes? Is there military testing going on? So I pulled up my handy dandy little app here called Plane Finder, and sure enough, these were planes coming out of Syracuse and coming out of Albany. JetBlue and Southwest. What else? Republic Air. Isn't that what Jay flies? Is it Republic?
I think it's a division of. Yeah.
Okay, I think so. And United, but they're all commercial planes. But the chemtrails are. Boy, they're really doing something with those chemtrails, right?
Yeah. So you're
isn't that the theory that?
Yeah. Well, if you believe that it's some poisoning of the population, it's a chemtrail.
I see.
Okay. I think it's just exhaust from the plane. Otherwise,
I do think. But they call them chemtrails, don't they? Or
I always thought chemtrails was a reference to the poison that they were. It's a chemical trail they're leaving.
So it's a chemtrail if you think they're trying to control the population.
I'm gonna look this
through through.
It's actually planes from Wuhan. They're dropping more COVID on the.
Okay.
On the
all right.
Okay. So the first thing that came up, I'm not going to go too much into this, but it says believers in chemtrails say those trails are actually clouds of chemicals used by the government for nefarious purposes.
Or
chemtrail conspiracy theory. Yes.
Or attempts to do good things, but it turns out bad. Right? Is that they're trying to make the world a better place? Big Brother and all of that garbage.
Yeah.
Well, what do you call them if you don't suspect anything negative?
I think it's erroneous belief, long-lasting.
Exhaust from the plane.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It would be like saying,
plane exhaust.
And the fact that it's 44 degrees out right now, I'm thinking there's steam in there as well.
If you were to refer to the rigged election, you would be probably a Trump believer type thing. If you're using that type of terminology,
look at them.
It kind of indicates which side you're on.
There's probably 6 out there that are just clear as day. It's really crazy. And the UFO sightings are through the roof right now. I don't know. Tony J. Power standing by right now. The governor in Texas is taking mask wearing to a whole new level in terms of not wearing masks. He is now banning schools from requiring masks, which I find is a step further in the other direction. Yeah. Good morning, Tanya. What do we know on this one?
Hey, good morning. And by the way, everybody knows that chemtrail that means that's the plane that Kim Kardashian is flying on right then. If it was her sister Chloe, it would be Chloe Trail.
I see.
You can look that up.
I'll have to look that up. I knew my daughter mentioned that once. So
it's a Kim Trail.
I'm just saying. That means that's the plane she's on. Isn't that what?
I think you may be right. I think you may be right.
I thought it was Kim Force One, but Kim Trail makes a lot more sense.
I mean, nobody says that it isn't.
Listen, the things we learn, Tanya, the things we learn.
And the things we outright make up.
We were, I have to tell you. It happens so often around here, I'll tell you. So we were speaking about the weekend and how it's gone from some, quote, Karen yelling at someone because they don't have a mask on to people yelling at someone because they're wearing a mask. Like, you don't have to wear that mask. I imagine that's not happening in Manhattan, but it is happening up here right now.
Yeah, I have not seen that happen here. Everybody seems to be really good at minding their own business, apparently, according to their mask behavior in public. I have not seen any of that. Of course, I haven't seen that really at all during the whole pandemic here. I know that there's been some, either video from Staten Island or something last year where people were screaming about stuff, but and I can't remember who was on what side.
Right.
But yeah, that's not normally a thing that we.
There
are still people wearing their mask outside. There are people who aren't wearing their mask. There are people who are kind of doing a hybrid of the two for the businesses that are still requiring it inside. So you've at least got it with you if you go in a business that still says, okay, we want you to wear a mask, but
there are people out there wearing clothing that I'd be like, I cannot believe you're leaving the house with that on. But I don't say anything. I keep my mouth shut.
Exactly.
The most covering up is the mask on their face.
Yeah. Okay, so Governor Abbott, this is an interesting approach here. He's going completely in the other direction.
Yeah, he announced last week that public schools can no longer require masks on their campuses starting June 5th. It's not just that he says, okay, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. We're leaving it up to the school. He's basically said this executive order, it bans government entities in Texas, like cities and counties, from mandating masks. Starting last Friday, any government entity that tried to impose a mask mandate could get a fine to be fined up to $1,000 under this new order. Like I said, the schools after June 4th, no student, teacher, parent, other staff member, or visitor may be required to wear a face covering under the new order. And some of the schools don't get out. I think two of the biggest school districts don't get out. Houston gets out like June 11th. Dallas gets out on June 18th. So, I mean, it's right here at the end of the school year. I think that probably the most people this is going to affect are people who are, going to summer school or, college students in summer school and things like that. But, yeah, that's what he said. As you mentioned, it's not just, okay, we're going to leave it up to the individual, whatever you want to do, but you don't have to, statewide anymore. We're not going to allow you to have a mask mandate.
Which is from the governor who didn't mandate masks in the first place, right? He left it up to the individual school districts and the counties to make that decision.
Yeah, I believe that was the case there. It honestly got really difficult to keep track of what who was going the furthest and who was not allowing them at all. And some people, some governors were just leaving it up to, like you said, leaving it up to the entities themselves.
Yeah.
But he's kind of drawn a line and said, okay, no, in this new executive order that you can't mandate a mask in Texas City or county.
Well, listen, we're heading into the summer where it's supposed to, where if you look at last year, how it declined and continued to decline. Maybe by the time we hit midsummer and the end of the summer, it's gone, and we don't ever have to see what's going on over in India and any of these other variants. And who knows, Tanya, maybe one shot and done. Maybe we don't need more than one shot. Wouldn't that be the best thing in the world?
It would be awesome for us to finally get to the percentage we need to get to in birth rates, which is, I'm seeing there's been estimates of 70%. That's the goal.
Yep.
And right now we're at a little less than 50. So
long way to go.
We got further to go, but we're getting there.
All right, Tanya, thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. Mel Fansett is the new town clerk in New Hartford. I hope I get all this right, Mel. She says, I thought it would be nice and a creative courtesy to our residents to draw up a certified COVID-19 eliminated card or vaccinated card that our residents could carry in their wallets or purses, similar to a driver's license for a small minimal fee for our residents. New Hartford would be the first office to offer the service. The fee would only be a couple of dollars just to cover the cost. She says she thinks this service could be huge in proving you're vaccinated, just as a driver's license is to buy beer or cigarettes or what have you. New Hartford would be the first to offer it if the board ends up approving it. But that is in the works right now in the town of New Hartford.
I mean,
I think you'll see more of this stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, but don't you have a card already?
You do, but a lot of people don't want to carry it around, and the other part of it is
fragile.
It's also I think it's the general thought is that card can be duplicated very easily.
Yeah,
like you can fake it,
no question.
We have a few people messaging. Actually.
Well, then how would you if you showed up?
I'm sorry, she's the deputy town clerk, Mel. I'm sorry, I'm running. She says I'm running for office in the upcoming election. All right. So what she's basically saying is vote Mel in the upcoming election. Thank you, Mel, for that.
We'll help you prove you're vaccinated. As they usually do, we have listeners correcting us this morning. I guess it's contrails.
No, it's chemtrails. It's CHEM trails.
What's contrail?
That's another name for the same thing.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like it's maybe that's what it's called if you're not a conspiracy theorist. Is that possible? I have no idea.
It's just exhaust, really.
Can I throw you
the stuff that causes black ice?
Can I throw
That's all it is. It's in the airborne version.
Can I throw you my Larry David moment for the weekend? This one might even be not even qualified as Larry David. You have to be the judge. So I have found, and I think Lowe's sells these exclusively. I got a combo, and it's 80-volt combo leaf blower and weed whacker. Love it. And it's easy. The weed eater is easy to load, and it's made by Cobalt.
Okay.
Cobalt. It's blue. Unbelievably powerful.
Battery powered?
Battery powered.
Yeah.
And the battery lasts. I'm able to do my whole property and weed eat and blow everything off without losing the battery.
It's the future.
It is the future.
Really?
So,
can you do the two simultaneously?
No, there's only one battery.
How would I be able to do that? There's one battery that comes with it, but how can I carry both of them? I'm not. My arms aren't that strong.
I thought it was one device.
I'm weed whacking over here. I feel like Edward Scissorhands.
No, I thought it was.
As I weed whack, I'm blowing it. It's incredible.
I thought it was a 2-in-1 thing.
It is in the box. Whether you take them out, they're two different devices.
Okay, I see. Yeah, now it's clear.
All right, so I swear to God. So I'm to the point where this is a time of year where if you have a pool, you're getting bombarded with seedlings and flowers and everything coming off the trees. The wind blows, you're dealing with. So I'm trying to blow the stuff away from the pool. So I'm pretty. I feel like I'm fairly agile, and I'm making my way around the pool. My wife is in the pool, looking the other way, and all of a sudden, I take a step, and I didn't realize, but I cut the corner too sharp. Now I am weed whacking. And the concrete is stamped, so it's a jagged edge along the whole side, made to be looking like it's something real or something. I went in. I scraped myself right down the edge of that pool.
Ooh.
Smashed the leaf blower into the concrete, making a huge sound. Didn't let go of the leaf blower until it was too late. The leaf blower comes in the pool with me.
Oh, no.
Luckily, it wasn't electric, right?
Right.
So it comes in with me.
We'd be renaming the show this morning.
Right to the bottom of the pool. I'm now all in. I'm going down to the bottom as well, and I took a pretty hard hit. Mainly on my shoulder and my arm. So now the first instinct is, all right, let me get some air. So I came above water and I looked down, and there's what do you think the first thing my wife said? Well, go down and get the leaf blower. So I go down and get the leaf blower and bring it up, and I am telling you, I am being shocked as I'm pulling this thing out of the water. It is burning my hand as I'm pulling it out of the water. Get it up there and take the battery out, because you now, if you look at anything with lithium batteries, if water comes in contact with a lithium battery, if there was any leakage going on there, it explodes. And you figure this is 80 volts. It's filled with those lithium batteries.
Yeah.
It's a bad explosion. It did not explode, but it completely destroyed the battery and destroyed the leaf blower. I think I don't have another battery to put into it to find out. But I'm telling you. Now, I'm thinking if I was the only one out there and I hit my head and knocked myself out, I'd be dead today. Because no one would have paid any attention. Everybody's doing their own thing. They're in the house. Nobody's paying any attention.
Right.
A noise in the backyard when I'm out there is normal, I guess. But, man, gone. And there's that brand new leaf blower.
Yeah, that part stinks. I was going to say, when you were
and
telling
the battery
story,
is like $140.
Yeah, once it's submerged, I don't think there's any saving. Yeah. It's like a cell phone.
And you want to be careful because it could explode. If the water were to connect, it can explode, and it's a terrible explosion.
You have time for a quick cell phone story?
Can I take Irwin quickly in Rome, and then we'll do that? Hello, Irwin in Rome on contrail versus chemtrail. What's the difference?
Good morning, Bill.
Good morning.
Harlan, Harlan.
Harlan. Good morning, Harlan.
Yes. And I worked 12 and a half years on a flight line with the Air Force.
Okay.
And I worked hands-on on the fighter bombers. And these things will take off loaded with fuel, go to their altitude, and get their speed up to where they have to be. And there's a lot of friction taking place on the aircraft.
Okay.
And they hit these moisture in the air, hits and condenses.
I see.
Flows off the back of the wings or anything that's furthest back on the airplane, because all this stuff that's condensing on the wings and the fuselage rolls back to the back towards the back of the aircraft and come off the back, and they again are hit by exhaust streams. And there's a lot of condensing, and that is your chemtrail.
Got it.
It's condensation.
I roll my eyes every time I hear this story, and I've been listening to these stories for years and years and
right.
years.
There's some chemical being produced to, put the public in place or something. And
No. I worked on the flight line. I had to fill these jet aircraft up with the JP4 fuel.
Right.
And it's now gone to a JP5 or something else. I'm old. There's no place you can really actually put them unless you actually put a pylon inside next to the drop tanks and put up some sort of canister, and then there's no piping on those.
Got it.
All these things that are carrying bombs are not carrying fuel.
Right.
In those pylons. So there's no way of liquid being able to get up through the canister, into the wings, out towards the back of the aircraft, and then sprayed off.
Well, it seems like it's one of those perfect mornings with the temperature about 40 degrees. The sky is completely clear. You just see like 6 or 7 of these big contrails or chemtrails, whatever you want to call them, I guess, in the sky, and they're very definitive this morning.
Oh, yeah, I know. I see them come. In fact, I have to go back up to the VA every now and again. I'm a Vietnam vet with a lot of Agent Orange problems.
Oh, boy. Sorry to hear that.
Well, on the way home, I'm looking up the sky, and I turned to my wife and said, "Look, it's a chemtrail, hon."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And we get a big kick out of it.
They're trying to control population, or whatever these people are saying that they do.
They can't. They have a hard time even pumping fuel off that airplane once it's in the air.
Right.
Because it's a pressurized fuel system.
Well, it would have to be a pretty potent chemical, this whole conspiracy theory. It would have to be an unbelievably potent chemical, considering how little the trail is compared to the mass of the atmosphere and air. And well, I mean, it's just, it doesn't make sense logically.
It doesn't make sense, but I will tell you something that will blow your mind. Do you know the name of the chemical they allegedly use? It's called COVID-19.
Harlan, thank you for that, and thank you for your service, and I hope all goes well at the VA. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
We appreciate the update this morning.
I hate to say,
by the way, you said cell phone story. My watch said, "It seems like you have fallen. Are you okay, or should we call 911?" And everything went in with me, my phone and everything.
If they were going to poison somebody, there's a trillion other ways you can do it other than releasing chemicals that high in the air.
Correct. Yeah, these airplanes. All right, we got a break. Coming up, there's much to get to for this Monday morning. Heading into what looks like right now, we'll see what Richard has to say, but looks like a cold and rainy Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. Nice week, but the weekend not looking so good. We'll see what happens coming up.